in this time and age where all of us are having almost a similar life. We have a partner, and of course, now two of you are our parents. I'm not there yet. I have still two cats, so I'm somewhat there, but I will get there eventually.
I think purpose is one thing that even if it's like a goal. When you achieve something, then you're going to be achieving the next and next and next and next. 99% of the people is not living a purposeful life, and that's okay. It's not because
One of the biggest things that I've realized that no matter what your relationships and where they stand, no matter if it's with family, if it's with your wife, with your kid, it shouldn't come in the way of your purpose.
before having kids and after having kids is two different things. Really. You can't say that one until you start to have like a responsibility for a family, and that one will occupy your life. Never let the chase for the purpose die.
Like for greatness, especially, like if you look at all the great men, none of the great men were great because they took great care of their family.
If it's not something that is in motion, I think there's something that happens to men, and I've seen it all my life. Like the place where I'm from, the people that I know, everything I know, there's a key word you guys use as well, which is
All right. Very happy to be here, and I'm here with two of my brothers. One is in Denmark. One at the moment is I don't know where. He will tell you guys about it in a bit. But we are here together to be talking about men's wellness. And of course, like all of us are extremely excited and passionate about this topic. And we will first start with a short introduction and the story of how we got to connect together. Let's start with Ali.
Bro, ladies first. Neil start.
I'm going first.
So my name is Ali Amber. As Rafi said, I am living in Denmark with my family. But what's more interesting is what I'm doing every day. I'm working in the marketing agency. So that's my day job. But on the side, I think what I'm passionate about, why I'm here today, it's mainly the masculinity, building a movement for masculinity and defining what is modern masculinity. And I'm doing that with my two bros. And we're going to get a bit closer into how we got to meet and what we're intending in here.
Beautiful. Neil, let's do
All
it.
right, awesome. So I'm Neil Atim. I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago, but at the moment I live in Buenos Aires, Argentina with my family. Have been on the move for quite some time now, so a little bit of nomad, but trying to leave that this year. And yeah, I work also in marketing. I think the three of us, we share that. I have a marketing agency. I also wrote a book. I have a podcast that I haven't gotten to in a while, but we'll get to it. And yeah, excited to jump into this topic. It's something that we're all passionate about, whether it's health, mindset, wellness, finance, everything, I think it's something that is missing today, like some single resource. And I think, getting something going is the main thing. And that's what we're planning to do here.
Absolutely. And especially in this time and age where all of us are having almost a similar life. We have a partner, and of course, now two of you are our parents. I'm not there yet. I have still two cats, so I'm somewhat there, but I will get there eventually. And a lot of the things that we talk about week on week on week, we see so many similarities in the things that we go through, and that's the biggest reason why we have come together here, so that we can share our experiences and also learn from each other. Because I think men don't really speak to other men, like they might speak to their partners, but also not in the depth that we actually need to. So we do want to build that brotherhood, and we do want to share the wisdom that we have. So today's topic is extremely exciting, and I think I do want to dive deeper into that because that has been very close to me, and I think a lot of the people know what purpose is, and I feel like it has been mystified a lot because purpose is something that people feel that they might have, they might not have, or like something someday will come onto them. But essentially, what we will talk about today is what it is and how to get there. So of course, like I want to throw this question to Neil first, starting off with you, on what you think is purpose, especially a man's purpose.
I think for me personally, so now I'm 30 years old, right? So over the years, it has changed a lot for me, as in definition and stuff. When I was younger, reading the Way of Superior Man and all these books, everything in the manosphere. I always thought like, oh, I need to have some big mission and contribute and change the world and all of that, And like for me, most recently, I had the biggest change, as in how I view purpose and stuff, since having a family, since becoming a father, And to me, it's like at this point in time, the way I define it, it may change in the future again, but it's just me realizing my fullest potential so that I can live, a fulfilling life. I can maximize whatever I was brought here to do in this world, and at the same time contribute to everyone around me, like my son, my partner, my family, my friends, everyone, just realizing my fullest potential so I can hit my maximum. Before I die, I must die on zero. The concept of dying at zero, like used everything. So that's how I see it. It's like going to the fullest extent. No, um, I can't say, oh, my purpose here is to, change humanity and all of that. But like I said, I kind of shed that, Now it's like, no, I don't need to change a billion lives and all of this kind of stuff. It would be nice along the way. But if it comes as a result of me realizing my fullest potential, then hell yeah, And then what is realizing your fullest potential to me is like excellence in all domains, whether it's health, whether it's finance, whether it's in your relationship, your mental state, and these are things that we struggle with all the time, right? Like there is no perfect state, and this is something we keep talking about as well. So yeah, to keep it brief, I think that for me now at this point in my life is how I would define it, just realizing my fullest potential so that I can benefit myself first of all, and then everyone around me.
Wow, that's a solid answer. The podcast is over. Thank you, guys.
Drop mic.
No, sorry, Ali. Coming back to you, of course. Like, I think that was incredible. Like, I think the things that you talked about, especially realizing your fullest potential, right? Like, essentially, people say that purpose should be that big thing that, which will change the entire world. But it's not really that. It's you got to start from yourself first, and then you go deeper into, understanding what could unfold, essentially. What do you think, Ali?
I think Neil hit a lot of the things that is definitely been on the thinking and that has been in the reflection for the longest time. I think one thing I definitely agree on is we all know that is an ongoing process. It's not because one day I'm going to be waking up, I'm like, woo, I'm living my purposeful life. I'm like, no. I think purpose is one thing that even if it's like a goal. When you achieve something, then you're going to be achieving the next and next and next and next. And I think achieving your fullest potential is limitless. So I don't think there are a cap where I'm like, oh, I'm fulfilled. No, I think it's like an ongoing process. But when I'm thinking about it, also the upbringing that I'm coming from and so on, I'm like, okay, I'm also coming from a spiritual, maybe also an Islamic version of it, where I'm also seeing like, okay, what is the exam that I am in here for? I'm like, okay, if I'm coming into a math exam, I'm going to be solving some equations. So I know the purpose is solving equations and getting something on the other side. If I'm an engineer, it's an engineer exam. I know what the other side. And I think for me, like, okay, if the start of it is I'm coming to this world and I need to leave it at some point of time, and I'm believing that there are an examination afterwards for myself, where the purpose of it is how good a human I was. What did I contribute to? Did I come in with a surplus? Like, did I leave the world a better world, or did I leave it a shittier world? And based on that one, I will get my results on it. So I think at the end of it, because sometimes like I'm chasing this 1, 2, 3, and it's like a big ass vision. I'm like, at the end of it, can I be a good human? Can I be useful? And I think this is where it shifted a lot of the paradigm I had in my mind. Being useful, I'm like, okay, it can be 1%, it can be 100%. Because I think purpose, and you said it perfectly, Rafa, in the beginning, it's like that dreamy, like era, big scenario that everyone is chasing. And I'm like, no, the more I live it, I'm like, no, listen, I'm working in a marketing agency. I'm happy with it. Yes. Is that my purpose? No. But that doesn't stop me from doing my purpose of getting people in good vibes, happy and optimistic in my everyday. And I do that every single day. And I still feel that, okay, it's giving me a feeling. But that's number one of it. I think number two, I'm thinking about it because it will also, like, I think hopefully we're going to get into the myth of it, because I think that one is a very big one. Do I want to chase purpose because I want to have that feeling and it's an ego thing? Or am I doing it unconditionally? Because I think like true purpose come when you do things unconditionally for someone else. And you said it for yourself, like it's, you have a certain set of gifts. Can I share that one unconditionally with the world? Because I think if we come into it, because I think the whole commercialization of purpose has been a big thing over the years. Every purpose needs to be turned into a business. Fuck no. It doesn't have to do that, because as soon as you put it into a business circumstances, what happened is it get commercialized. and you're very selective. And then you are actually going away from your true purpose of being and serving someone else and being there for them. So I feel that's what I'm having in here, really, like doing the thing unconditionally, being as useful as possible, being there for people around you. And again, you start to see, as Neil said, once you get a family, just being useful for your family and your near circumstances, you feel purpose in your life.
So I think, very fair points, but I have also been reading a lot, right, like about purpose and what that is. And one of the biggest things that I've realized that no matter what your relationships and where they stand, no matter if it's with family, if it's with your wife, with your kid, it shouldn't come in the way of your purpose. Right. And I'm sure a lot of you, both of you might have also heard that, because you see, like if I tell that to my partner or my family, they'll be like, you know what, family is the most important thing. Your partner is the most important thing. Your child, like there is nothing more important than your child. And for some people, it's also religion. It's also, there are so many different things which hold that priority. What would you say to that? Starting off with Ali.
So I can speak from my side and my personal experience. I'm not gonna be saying, oh, this is what book says. I'm not gonna be very transparent about my own experience. Before having kids and after having kids is two different things. Again, Neil's gonna jump in and most likely fill all of the gaps that I'm having in here. But really, you can't say that one until you start to have like a responsibility for a family, and that one will occupy your life. However, I would say never let the chase for the purpose die. I feel it's a fire. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, and be adaptive to it. It's not because it's one straight line that you're going to be on. Sometimes you're going to take a detour, sometimes it goes 20 kilometers per hour, sometimes it goes 120. Once you have the time, give it all. When you have the time, you have the space, give it all. Once it goes slower, it's okay. And I think also sometimes because we can be very harsh on ourselves, I'm like, listen, if you look around you, maybe truth to be said, like 99% of the people is not living a purposeful life. And that's okay. It's not because we need to feel as a failure because we're not feeling that fulfilled life. As I said it, I still believe in the micro purpose that you can share of yourself 1, 2, 3% during the day. That's still okay, but still be chasing all the time. So that will be from my side, at least on my personal experience.
Okay. Okay, fair. I think it's all about essentially, to me, like I think it's all about how can you be a better human, right? Essentially, that is the crux of everything, and how can you give back as much as you can. But like for greatness, especially, like if you look at all the great men, none of the great men were great because they took great care of their family or their partner, or they were great at being a husband. Right? Like name any, right? Like name any men they are known for their bigger purpose, for the massive impact that they have brought in. With that being said, what do you think about this, Neil? This particular nuance.
So the thing is, like, okay, all the great men, we know them from the outside perspective, the conquerors and kings and all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, I think it does matter, like to your family, to your kids, like to your partner, the people around you, how you treat them and everything, Unless if you want to be remembered as some conqueror and king and forget your family and, just go to your divine calling and purpose and, let everyone fall on the wayside, then if that is your calling, then 100%, But for me, now, as I said in the beginning, and just to address the same points that Ali made, like, to me, it's like you can have those periods where there's the slow burn, as Ali said. And for me, that is probably a bit over the past couple months, having a newborn and everything. Like, good luck going 120 kilometers with your purpose and all of that, But at the same time, it's like, if it's not stoked, if it's not something that is in motion, I think there's something that happens to men, and I've seen it all my life. Like the place where I'm from, the people that I know, everything I know, there's a key word you guys use as well, which is useful, right? Anytime a man doesn't feel useful, I think something just diminishes in his soul at a soul level, and that is one of the key things. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, how small it is, but as long as a man has some use, that kind of constitute to purpose at some level, maybe on a micro level, right? But it's something super, super important for every single man. But again, it comes down to the individual, what they're seeking. You know, you can want to be the conqueror and disregard everyone, but I think most people probably doesn't want to go down that path. And yeah, I think if you treat your family well, treat the people around you well, and still at the same time, I mean, come on, we have surplus energy. We're tapped in to something bigger than ourselves. Whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever it is, it's just like so much potential energy out there. You can get things done. Like even with showing kindness to your family or people around, and not being just an asshole. Like no need for that most of the time. I mean, sometimes you may have your low moments. Even for me, running a business, I have my low moments and everything. Family life, sleep deprived, whatever. It happens. I snap sometimes, and to me, I've gotten to a point now where in my 20s I was like, oh yeah, I'm so zen, and everything is calm. Bro, when you get a family, like everything changes. When you have a different, exactly, it's a different level of responsibility, and like I accept the fact that I'm a human being who is flawed, and shit breaks sometimes. You may break sometimes a little bit, but yeah, just being tied to the main thing, which is keeping the momentum, no matter how little or slow it may be at any point in time. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Ruff, can I add something very interesting that also made me smiling here? Because I was watching Gladiator also like recently, and then Marcus Aurelius, when he was like, bro, he got killed by his own son because he wasn't there, but he was conquering the world and making everything else. And he said it himself, I've been a failure. And dude, I think I believe like he did something great and he had chased it and so on. But at the end of it, man, he was like, dude, I failed. If I couldn't even take care of my family and my son is feeling what he's feeling and getting to the point that he's killing his own father, I'm like, I also see that one as a failure. If you conquer the world and cannot even win your family, I think that's definitely a failure. And because you see it, by the way, and you definitely see it. I think that's one is number one. But one thing that's very important in here, again, success and greatness is glorified. I'm really, because it made me think about the time, because when I went to Japan and I think it was fascinating to see the one that's standing there. I don't know if you call it that train coordinator. I don't know what you call them. The one that says beep, and then yeah, next train can go. Dude, I think this guy's been doing it for 15 years, but he had so much honor, and he was literally feeling a purpose in the craftsmanship, not necessarily because it's my purpose. God put me in here because I need to say next train, but he was a craftsman in what he was doing, and he was honorable in what he was doing. And for me, I saw greatness in that man. I see a greatness in a gardener. I see someone cleaning the street. I see a greatness in someone getting into the office and having a shitty life every single day and still coming home and not screaming at his kids. For me, again, this is a different type of greatness, and that one is overseen because we only speak about the next billion-dollar company and unicorn and whoever is mating. But most of the time, if you go to these people, I'm like, yeah, honestly, if I could go back again, I wish I just spent time with people, and we're not that focused about it. So I think at the end of it, and I think maybe that's a topic for something else, defining your own success. Because we have a social success, and then we can have a personal success. And for me, if you live your personal success, that is your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think you said it right. Like, it's glorified. The purpose is glorified. Like, everybody who thinks about purpose, they're like, okay, it's either $1 billion or billions of followers, or, there are lovers left, right, and center, and, everybody's throwing love at. Maybe not. Maybe it's what you do and what you're good at, and that's your purpose. Maybe, not everybody has to know you. You don't have to make millions of dollars. You just have to live a life that you're satisfied with, you're happy with, and you feel success in that. And I think that's what really matters. And you guys said it right, like, because essentially, if you can't even take care of your family, what good is that purpose? Like, essentially, you love your parents the most, your kids the most, your partner the most. If you can't even take care of them, does that really matter? So, all right, let's get to the next question, which is, of course, like, everybody has been looking for answers for that. Like, how do I get to my purpose?
Neil, you already made a talk about it. Maybe you should start.
Yeah, bro, you did an entire fucking podcast.
Yeah. I mean, so I think the main thing I would say, there is no one single path like, oh, write it on a piece of paper. This is how you find your purpose. That's bullshit. Like for everyone, it's a process. And it will be completely different. We all have different background, different situations. Like we all have our own path in life and how we discover it. Some of us, it may be we're 5 years old and something ticks in our brain, and the rest of our life we want to paint and we become painters. And then for some people, they may be 60-year old and retired and be like, shit, I really love building stuff with my hands, and then they start doing that. Like even with entrepreneurs and the glorified ones, like I just want to go back to that a little bit, right, and tie it to this. So a lot of them did things their entire life, and only after they died and stuff, their business took off, and they built a name and stuff, and they didn't even realize. They thought they were a failure. They've been trying and stuff, and only after their purpose seemed to come alive in the world, and everyone glorified them as heroes and all of this, right? So that's something to note as well. So maybe you probably won't even, who knows, realize it in your lifetime, and so something that you do leaves an impact after, but there's every possibility in existence, will be in existence, right? So for me, like the way I see it is, there's so many things to do and try and test, and so many interests that we may have. So to me, it's like exploring each and every one of them, going full out on each and everything, and only then, at least that's how it worked for me, will it really click. So if something catches on in my mind and I keep thinking about it, like, oh, I want to try this, I want to do this, I need to, explore this, then I jump in 100%, dedicate myself to it. And, if I spend enough time and I know, okay, this isn't working out, and, I can't keep putting energy towards it because it feels draining, then I know, okay, maybe this is not aligned, because to me, something that is purposeful, like you will have that enthusiasm and it energizes you, it's not like a you pursuing it, but it pulling you towards it. That's how I see it. And yeah, the only way is to try shit, man. Like come on, like so many people today, they would have their job and probably do the basics, the bare minimum, whatever leftover energy they may say, I'm too tired at the end of the day, and go Netflix or whatever they want to do, that is not really that productive from a man's perspective, right? And the way I see it, I can't tell anyone what to do. But if you're a young man out there with energy and you're fucking updated on the latest episodes on Netflix, to me, that is not realizing your fullest potential, If you have things in the tank, things in your mind that you want to try, you need to use every bit of your time doing this shit, Like right now, Rafa, it's Sunday night for you, and you're doing this podcast because it's something burning inside of you, For me and Ali, it's Sunday as well, but we want to do this. This energizes us, so we're doing it, So yeah, just testing the waters. That's the only way. What do you think, Ali?
So the other day, I love just going around in the office and sitting next to people and just having a chat. I'm like, if you weren't sitting here and doing what you're doing, what would you do? 99% of the people knows exactly what they will be doing. So you'll be surprised actually, because when I'm going around, if as soon as you take, because they were saying if money were not an issue and I had the time, I would be doing X. And my question is like always, why are you not doing it? And it's of course the fear of change, because again, if you're having a salary and you're having maybe a mortgage and you have a car and you're paying for your shit, and out of a sudden taking a big ass risk in a new area, that is a bit risky. And again, I can feel, I know it for myself. If you ask me, Ali, do you know exactly what you're supposed to do? Yes, I know it. What is stopping me sometimes is the fear, is taking that big leap into it. So deepest inside, I don't think it's like, oh, you need to do some super magical exercises and so on. Listen, man, sit with yourself and ask yourself, if I were to do something day in and day out, even without getting paid for it, what will I do? And trust me, the answer will come to you and you'll be like, yes. And I think, as I told you, because I think I really, for me, purpose and unconditional devotion, these two really goes hand in hand. Because I think that's the truth of it. Because the challenge is, as soon as you say, oh, this is my purpose and how can I commercialize it? Done. You just killed it. And then it becomes difficult, because now the challenge is not to live purposefully, but how to build a business, which is not that easy.
Agreed.
Agreed. And I think listening to you both, I think there are a lot of similarities in the answers, right? Like essentially going all out, trying things out. And one of the biggest things that people have a misconception on is that, okay, they will know their purpose and it's just going to be one single thing. It's not going to be one single thing. It comes layer by layer by layer. So today, let's say we are enthusiastic for doing this podcast and we want to do it. We want to talk in it and we want to share this knowledge. It could lead to something a lot bigger. We don't know yet. So, and who are we to know? Like we know so little about our future unless we just try to project it again and again and again, right? Like there is no control. So if that is not in control, I think what we should focus on is what we are extremely interested in. So let's say for us, it's doing this podcast. Do that as well as we can and as much as we can, and we will just leave the rest to the universe. Because see, like I never knew that I would enjoy making content. Like I never knew I would enjoy building content. And, I tried so many different topics, so many different niches. I had a different podcast before, and I would just feel so drained after every single episode. And I'm like, shit, why do I have to do it? Even though I was speaking with incredible people. I was speaking with incredible people, learning a lot. But I would be extremely drained. And, small things would bug me. Oh, shit, the light broke. Why is the camera not working? Yesterday it was working, today is not. But when you start putting the right energy, I feel like everything just comes into place, right? Like I'm enjoying building content, everything is working smoothly. You guys agreed to doing it. Like all of these things just came together so fast, so easily, so effortlessly. And for a lot of the people, that it might not. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is that if you put the energy in, and if you really know what you want to do, essentially, it will just come together. With that being said,
Ralph, can I add something very small in
yes.
here that I think is very interesting, because I think it's sharing our personal experience. It might be of value to someone, and I'm always saying if it can help one person become better, then we have been doing a great job. But I think it's
Yes.
very, very interesting because when I was reflecting about the topic of purpose, and one of the thought that came to me, again, going through the different prophets throughout the history, dude, they actually lived as craftsmen in a very simple job, and they only received their messages maybe at the age of 40. Which mean, according to the Purposeful Life, they've been failure for 40 years. But those are also the human that most likely impacted our life and the history the most in here. And I think it's I think that the classic one about not feeling as a failure because I'm not living my purpose. And I think that one is very, very important because I see it, because it's like, and a lot of people, I'm like, listen, man, we have day-to-day jobs, and it's okay. Your job is not supposed to be your purpose. Listen, yeah, we still in the 30s, but again, I'm also seeing it. We started, and then I see it in younger people. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not motivated. I'm not feeling a purposeful life. I'm like, listen, you are paid to do something that you wouldn't have done if you were not paid. As simple as that. No one, you're not here, someone to give you like a purpose. Listen, business is business. It's there to make money. It's not there to feed you with your purpose. So, and do not feel like a failure if it's not there. Focus on your craftsmanship until it takes off, so you get to the level where your purpose is ready and you're ready for it and it's ready for you. Because again, sometimes like it's literally a door you need to open and then you're on the other side. But when are you ready? And that's the question. But my point is, do not be harsh on yourself. You, as long as you're going and you still feel the fire is in there somewhere, it's okay.
That's a really good
Absolutely.
point. Like you need to be ready as well. That's solid point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So, of course, like we are at the end of the podcast, and I would end with a question, and then we will just take turns here. So, the last question is, of course, for all the men who feel lost today, what should they do to get to their purpose, and what are the things that you would advise them to as well? So, let's start with Neil, and then we will go to Ali.
Like I said, I'm 30 years old, right? I'm not 50 or 60, but I did have some good life experience to help get me where I am today. And the main thing I would say is to always be in momentum. Don't sit on the couch and don't wait for things to come to you. Like at one point in my time, in my life, I was picking up trash from the streets, and like At that time, like, of course, I know I'm not living my purpose and stuff, but it will come because I'm in this state of motion, and that's how life flows. You have to be in a constant state of movement. Like, the only thing that is immobile is like dead things, and don't embody that. I would say is like just be in motion, keep things going, and whatever you're doing it to the fullest extent. Like while I was picking up trash, I was like doing it proper. I'm here to pick up trash. I'm gonna fucking pick up trash. Like Ali was saying, like if you're at a job or something, you're doing that thing. Do that thing. Don't anticipate like, oh, I have X amount of time until this is. And if you're doing something, commit yourself to that thing. And whatever extra time you have after that, if you have your requirements, your responsibilities, whatever it is, you dedicate that time towards whatever you want to explore. But the main thing is like no one is going to come and hand you an envelope and say, hey, this is your purpose. You need to be out there pursuing, you need to be on it, behind it. And one little thing I want to add to that is like if you don't have a family, if you don't have any big responsibilities, no kids, this kind of stuff, like fear, forget fear. Like you would not be homeless on the streets. This is the time to try and fail, and you can literally try and test anything at that point in time. But the moment that switch happens, the responsibilities become a bit more, like Ali was saying as well. And a lot of people, as you guys were saying as well, they already know inside. As Ali was questioning his colleagues, they knew what they want to do. This reminded me of the scene in Fight Club where they went into the shop, the store, and there was this guy Raymond, and Raymond is working in the shop, and they pulled him out. They put a gun to his head, like, Raymond, what did you want to be? And he wanted to become a veterinarian, and he told them like, okay, I'm keeping your ID card. If you're not on your way to becoming a veterinarian, I'm gonna come back for you. So a lot of people live in this state, and I see it all the time. There's people around me that and I try to encourage them, but there's only so much I can do, right? I can't tell people how to live their lives and anything, but deep inside we know what we want to do. So if you're at that point where you're waiting or you're being passive about it, then nothing is going to come. So be in motion, action over everything.
Beautiful. Ali.
I think two things to that point. The first one is Neil said it very well. It's like it's like get the momentum, not even like it's like start the momentum. Take responsibility, take ownership, and even 1% is better than 0%. That's it for me, like getting started. Number two, and actually the reason why the three of us in here, because as soon as you start, I think doing things alone would get you this far, but if you really want to achieve something greater, you need to do it in a group. And which is why we're here today, why I wanted to build Manhood Era, why Neil wanted to build the Integrated Man, why you building this podcast, because I think the brotherhood and getting people, like you saw it, like, dude, you told me all of the great men, but listen, all of the great men had great people around them.
Absolutely.
And sometimes like getting that, like, what you call men's circle, brotherhood, whatever you're going to be calling, I think that one is extremely important because deep inside us, we know it. But when we are in a group, fear becomes way less and it just reduces to the level that you actually can take action. And if you take one action, it will lead to the next action and the next action because you will collect those small wins along the journey until one day that you're ready to take the leap. Sometimes I myself find it extremely hard to do the journey alone on myself. But if I'm with people, then it makes it easier for me. So I'm always saying, like, the first one is like, take responsibility and get the first 1, 2, 3, 4 percentages. The teacher will appear when the student is ready. The right people will find you and you will find them. And I think that's where the universe will take you, but at least show some signs of action and you're willing to do it. And I think that's it. And I'm like, it doesn't need you need to completely transform your life in one day. No. Just take some small steps and get the momentum going, and hopefully it's going to be taking off at some point of time when you're ready for it.
Yeah. And I always say this, right? Like, just take out 1 hour a day. It might seem very hard to do. You start with half an hour. Like whatever you want to do, you want to play piano, you want to, become a DJ, whatever it is, like just take out that 1 hour every single day and hone that skill. I think there is beauty in regularity. There is beauty in giving that energy in and energy out, because essentially if you're not giving in, what the fuck are you expecting? Are you expecting to just, it will come on to you and you will become talented or get those six packs? It's never the case. So with that being said, it has been a beautiful episode. And of course, like I don't know how to end this, you guys.
Oh, yeah, I know. Neil got six pack without doing shit. That's
Only
so. Please,
man,
please,
Bro, that is not
Rafi, that
motivating
just
people,
killed
you know?
that just killed your entire theory. So we need to find something else. Let's start the recording one more time from the beginning. Let's go. And we are open for input on what the next topic should be.
Exactly.
or maybe all three of us can do it together. So I can start, and then you both can chime in. Okay. With that being said, we will end this episode here. It has been beautiful speaking with Ali and Neil, and we will come back next week with another topic. And of course, let us know what the topic is going to be. Ali, you and Neil, anything you guys have to say?
Well, guys, if you really want to see the next episode and you want to see all of the cut out jokes, maybe you can get them, because that's actually the best part. But what's more important, I think we are open for suggestions, because we've been covering a lot of these areas in our own personal life, and we are more than happy to share. As we said it, we are doing this unconditionally. We really don't know where this will be going, and I think that's the best part of it. We are going with the flow. So if you have input on what should be the next topic, hit us.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, we're doing this, out of our own time, Sunday, and just want to add value, help the younger versions of ourselves, the men out there, whoever may need the message here right now. And again, we're building something that we think we wish existed in the world, something that we want, and I think that's important. And like, Rafi is taking the lead on this, of course, which is super good. And he's the one, handling everything. So I think you can shoot him a message if there's a specific topic that you want covered, anything that based on our experience that we can bring, because we each have our experience. And I think in the future we can go into a little bit of that and how we met and where we're all from, because I think that's a really unique thing that we have as well, that what brought us together, right, from all over the world. So yeah, it was a fun episode and looking forward to the other one.
All right, guys. Thank you.